Got a big night of Big Ten women's soccer coming to you, and we start in Ann Arbor, Michigan, as the Michigan Wolverines, 1-1 in conference play, welcome the number 17 team in the country, the Wisconsin Badgers, the first of two Big Ten women's soccer games right here on the Big Ten Network. And hello, everybody. I'm Dean Linke. Delighted to be with Glenn Crooks, former Rutgers women's soccer coach. And Glenn, early on in conference play, both these teams coming off exciting victories.
Well, Michigan in the conference opener, they were up 2-0 with under 5 minutes to play against Indiana, end up losing in overtime 3-2. So they really needed that win, and it was a good bounce back against Purdue. As for Wisconsin, they tied their opener at home, and then a thrilling overtime victory defeating Purdue.
Yeah, they get that thriller from a player that was on the Mac Herman preseason watch list, and the Badgers needed it.
Well, Danny Rhodes, injured in preseason, didn't start the first two games of the season, and didn't score her first goal until the tying goal against Northwestern in the Big Ten opener, and then she had that overtime goal, the golden goal, against Illinois.
All right, Michigan, they get Hillary Beal back in goal. USU 14, U15, U17, U20, now in the pipes for Michigan.
Well, this is a big game for her to step in and perform. She's coming off a meniscus injury, which kept her out of the U20 World Cup. It's been a long absence, but her assets, a strong aerial presence, and a great shot-stopping ability.
No easy ones in Big Ten women's soccer 2018 style. It's number 17 Wisconsin. It's the Michigan Wolverines, and it's coming up next on BTN.
You don't think it'll happen to you, and you surely don't think it'll happen twice. I've lost 2 homes in my lifetime. First, it was a fire. My agent was right there and helped me rebuild. Then the tornado hit and destroyed everything again. Both times, my independent agent and auto owners took care of me like someone takes care of family.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there. Auto Owners Insurance.
Join T-Mobile and get Netflix included for the whole family, so you can get lost in space in your own backyard. Or get pumped up for your grand entrance. T-Mobile lets you watch your favorite movies and shows in more places without paying more. Get an unlimited family plan with Netflix on us. And right now at T-Mobile, buy one Samsung Galaxy S9 and get one free.
It's back. And it's front. No, really. The Triple Double Crunch Wrap $5 box is back. And it's still all mains, no sides, with 2 crunchy tacos and a medium soda. Just $5. Only at Taco Bell.
Sports fans are celebrating exclusive new fan gear by Fanatics. Unique, one-of-a-kind designs you won't find anywhere else. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get 20% off with promo code BREAKAWAY. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Discover card. Hi, I'm just looking at my account, and I've got all this extra cash back.
Yep, that's your cash back match. Only Discover will automatically match all the cash back new card members earn at the end of their first year.
You matched everything I earned this year?
Yeah.
Woo! More money, more money! Ah!
It's all very exciting.
I'm gonna spread the news.
Spread it wide.
It's cashback match, people!
You know that. You all work here.
New card members get a $1-for-$1 match at the end of their first year, only from Discover.
Women's soccer on BTN is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Ann Arbor, Michigan, busy weekend. Women's soccer tonight. On Saturday, the Wolverines football team welcomes in Nebraska. Always good to be at the University of Michigan Soccer Stadium. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Paula Wilkins and the Wisconsin Badgers. They'll go with a 4-4-2 with a diamond in the middle.
Yeah, you'll see Pickett more the attacking player and Ty kind of holding in the midfield.
And the starting lineup for the Michigan Wolverines under their new head coach, Jennifer Klein.
Klein is an experienced coach. At one point, the youngest Division I coach when she was at UNLV.
As we said in the open, so good to see Hillary Beal in goal for the Michigan Wolverines. So much experience with the U.S. youth system.
And spoke to her keeper coach with the youth national program, Ian Joyce, and he spoke so highly of her, and it was a very difficult day. The day prior to the announcement of the roster for the U20s, and she hurt her knee and did not have the opportunity to stay in France for that competition.
New goalkeeper for the Wisconsin Badgers, Jordan Bloomer, now gets the chance after so many exciting saves from Caitlin Clem. Big shoes to fill for Bloomer.
Thus far, she's filled them admirably. Her biggest thing now is game management, and that comes with experience.
7-1-1, that .85 goals against average. Let's take a look at Glenn Crook's keys here for both teams.
Well, first for the Wisconsin Badgers, the organized press, they love to press, and then the key there is not to allow Michigan to change the point of attack. The counterattack, well, Michigan likes to get their fullbacks in, and that leaves their central defenders kind of isolated, and that's where Wisconsin hopes to attack, and that's part of that isolating defense for Michigan is one of the keys. Those center backs have to be very good 1v1 and 2v2 tonight.
Michigan Wolverines in their home blues, the Wisconsin Badgers in their visiting whites. Michigan Soccer Stadium, home to the Michigan men's and women's soccer teams. Phenomenal facilities for every sports team in Ann Arbor. It's simply amazing.
One player to watch closely, Emma Cooper, there she's preparing to take the throw in, Dean. She started the game against Indiana, Big Ten opener, as a winger on the right side and assisted on the opening goal. But by the end of that match, she was a fullback. She played on the left side of the back and the right side of the back against Purdue. So right now, she's a fullback in this system.
Here comes Wisconsin. Try to find Rice. Rice has scored some big goals in her young career, the sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana. Michigan, middle of the park. Strategakis will lose it. Dane will come back and whistle for the foul. Meanwhile, Paula Wilkins, what a coach. In her 12th season, she led Wisconsin to the 2015 regular season title, the 2014 Big Ten tournament title. You see her record there, great success at Penn State. One of the things I love about her, though, she was a defender at UMass, and she captained that 93 squad to the College Cup. Then she took Penn State to the 2002 College Cup, at the time becoming the first person to play in a College Cup and coach in a College Cup.
That's a pretty fantastic record on her part, and the defender in her, she has that sort of mentality, and she carries that into her programs.
Free kick opportunity here. A planned play as Rice will drop it over. Not able to run it down there is Sella. Maya Sella, played back by Wesley. This Wisconsin Badgers team, I felt like they were on a free roll last year. In fact, Paula Wilkins said as much. Such a young team. They only lost 2 players from a team that had phenomenal success last year, kind of unexpected success. And you see their record this year. This is a dangerous team, not just in Big Ten Conference play, but even in the NCAA tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, the first RPI has been released this early in this season. It doesn't always have that much significance, but Wisconsin at number 24. And look, they're always competitive in just about every match they play, not only within the conference, but on the national stage as well.
Rhodes dropped it over. Good job on that back line for Michigan.
Well, the central defenders there, Dane and Joyner, side by side. Dane injured early on this season and is just coming back to full fitness. She was able to play in both matches on the weekend, the opening weekend of the Big Ten.
Michigan's home opener in Big Ten play. First 2 games on the road, including that, any way you slice it, Heartbreak City. And I'll tell you what, Michigan's head coach there in her first year, Jennifer Klein, she said, you know what, we flushed it. We didn't even look at it. We just got rid of it. And we focused on Purdue, and Purdue's a pretty good team, young team. And that's a big win for Coach Klein coming off that disappointing 3-2 result against Indiana?
I think that's such an important result. It's on the road, so you're dealing with a lot of different things there. But for Michigan to recover from that, because that Lisa and I did that game last week, and that had to be heartbreaking the way it all went down.
Michigan bunkering down 5-6 players inside the 18. Wesley will get it out wide. Wesley, chance to get it in and around the 6. Headed back, rolling out of bounds, and safety first. There'll be a throw in for Wisconsin. And here she is, Jennifer Klein, her first season at Michigan, replacing Greg Ryan, the former U.S. Women's National Team coach. And of course, Jennifer Klein was the associate head coach for the University of Southern Cal that won the 2016 National Championship under Kadani McAlpine. I talked to Kadani today, and he said Jennifer Klein was the coach on the staff that would fire up the team and bring that passion and a lot of adrenaline, either pregame or at halftime. She would bring some serious fire, and certainly he wished her well. He did say that after the first call in talking to Michigan about the job, when she was breaking it down, he said, look, you're gonna get this job. But knowing how loyal she was to USC, he said, here's how we're gonna handle this. When they offer you the job, don't worry about what you're gonna say to me, because you're fired. That made it easy. Well, of course, they obviously had a good laugh about that.
Well, the biggest thing she said she learned from Kadani McAlpine and working at USC was that it was a process. It takes time. And you look how they built that program, which led to the national championship. Back at the other end, Dean, the first test for Hillary Beal coming off that long absence was an inadvertent header by her fullback, Sarah Yeka, that she had to extend and save. That was a near own goal earlier. So Beal is ready.
There she is. Yeah, you're right. She had to scramble along the end line and then was saved as Yeka, you're right, just cleared it out of there in a safety first measure. Michigan going with a back line of Emma Cooper, Joyner, Jada Dane. Of course, ties to Wisconsin. Her dad, 1999 Heisman Trophy winner for the Badgers, Ron Dane. Good stuff here from Michigan. Castro. Looked like a handball right there. Castro wanted the handball. She won't get that, but she will get a throw in over near the corner flag. Let's see what you see here, Glenn.
Well, it was awkward and good not call, because it really hit the armpit area rather than the arm.
Okay, did hit her hand after that, but inadvertent, so certainly would have been tough to call PK, so they didn't.
No, sir.
Michigan pinned on the right side. It'll go off of Michigan and come back to the Badgers.
You see Emma Cooper's attacking prowess right there. Up from her fullback spot, she's getting in deep, and that's what Jen Klein wants her fullbacks to do. And Taylor Timko would normally be at that right back position, and that's why Emma Cooper, one of the reasons that she's dropped into the fullback slot on the right. Timko expected to be out another couple of weeks.
So Jennifer Klein, the new coach for Michigan, as Wisconsin plays it to Rice. They go out of bounds and corner kick Wisconsin. Victoria Pickett will come over for short corners at times for Wisconsin. This time the Badgers, they'll go near post. Headed right out. Keep an eye on Pickett. You see her, Glenn Crooks, leaking over there near the corner flag.
Well, Michigan sends two defenders. That would make it 2v2. If they sent only one, I think they would roll it to her.
So now they go inside the 6, headed out by Wisconsin that time. It'll be a Michigan goal kick. Grace Douglas.
Yeah, and that was a difficult header. I mean, she was facing away from the goal and was just trying to get her body positioned, spin, pivot, whatever, and get it on goal, but it was very little chance to get it under the bar.
A little bit of trouble here in the defensive third for Michigan, as Hillary Beal did play in 7 matches last year, 6 starts for that injury. There'll be a throw in here for Rhodes and Wisconsin. Out of bounds, and it'll come back to Hillary Beal and the Michigan Wolverines.
Rhodes has a moderately long throw. You saw Cam Murtha come over and try to post up, and they're looking for her to flick on off of that. So it doesn't reach the edge of the 6. I go from the edge of the 6 on, that's a long throw. It's about 5 yards shy of that. Still can be dangerous in the area.
Michigan still waiting to call the name of Nikki Hernandez, who's got those 6 goals and 5 assists for the Wolverines, playing up top there with Abby Castro and Riley Martin. And of course, Riley Martin was the hero a year ago. There's Nikki Hernandez, the sophomore from Naperville, Illinois. 17 points, not a bad start to the 2018 campaign.
With a position that's a little different than she had in her freshman year. She moved from the midfield to a striker role. And you see she also has a bundle of assists, 5. That's because she's comfortable coming back into the midfield. We'll look for that tonight, as well as getting close to goal and having the ability to finish.
She leads the conference in points and tied for first in goals. Michigan very patient, trying to build it out of the back, but they've turned it over, Glenn, quite often early on here.
Well, that's exactly what Paula Wilkins has designed in terms of pressing them in certain spots. And you see where the press is. It's on the outside portion of the field. And then can they lock them in, win the ball, and then counter off of that? That's a big part of the game plan for Wisconsin.
There's Danny Rhodes. Had a great campaign a year ago. She's got a knack for scoring big-time goals against big-time teams. Last year, she scored against Florida, scored against Virginia. She had a phenomenal goal against Michigan State. The bigger the game, the bigger her game.
And clutch, 5 game-winning goals last year. Her first game winner of what Wisconsin will hope will be many was the big golden goal on Sunday.
Yeah, against Illinois. Let's take a look at it.
Well, here we are, and what looked like an innocent ball out of the back. And notice no call. The AR thought it was a foul, and the referee said play on, and good thing for Wisconsin. And this is why she's a great finisher. A toe poke at the end. That was the best way to strike the ball.
Meanwhile, Michigan, I believe, has scored. The Michigan Wolverines have made it 1-0 here against Wisconsin. Danny Rhodes scoring that winner against Illinois, but Michigan now going on top 1-0.
All right, well, here the ball is won well, but it's always the second ball, almost always the second ball that's critical. And how about that finish by Riley Martin? Left-footed and perfectly placed as it kisses off the back post. And wow, what a finish. And give her credit, she pounces on the second ball after Wisconsin cleared it, but in a meager way, and then was able to just carry it in and finish it.
Riley Martin had the winner in Madison last year for the Michigan Wolverines, and she gives Michigan a 1-0 lead here at the Michigan Soccer Stadium. Played over the top. Hernandez was offside.
There she is, Riley Martin, who is really dangerous. And, you know, one of the things we've noted in her game is her ability to go to the inside and strike it right-footed from that left wing position. That's a left-footed drive from outside the area. Great goal.
The Badgers see if they can answer. Riley Martin, the senior, Carmel, Indiana. Her sister, Aaliyah, sits right behind her in the midfield. How proud is that family, a Big Ten family, mom and dad, Indiana and Purdue graduates. Riley Martin scored that winner 5 minutes into overtime last year in Madison. And you're talking about in Riley Martin, 2015, she was all Big Ten freshman team. 2016, second team Big Ten. Last year, third team Big Ten. 5 goals on the season now. So another, quote, all Big Ten type season for Riley Martin.
Yeah, and she does it on both sides of the ball well. We'll notice how hard she works to track back from her wing position in the defensive shape. Out of a 4-3-3, the winger has defensive responsibilities as well.
Hernandez going to take a shot with her left foot, deflected. Picked up in goal there by Jordan Bloomer.
Sarah Stratigakis, very active, searching for the rebound on that out of her midfield spot. She was in the area.
One 0 Michigan. Coming up after this one, another good one, Big Ten women's soccer, Penn State and Northwestern. That pass goes wanting. There you see it. Number 20 Penn State at number 21 Northwestern. Erica Dombot, Michael Moynihan, two of the best coaches in the country.
The Big Ten has a great stable of head coaches, and those two are at or near the top. Erica has had fantastic success, and Michael has helped turn that program into a national contender.
All right, Glenn, I know we saw your keys early, but as I see Wisconsin here down 1-0, knowing that Michigan does have those explosive front runners, I think we've got to see more of Pickett, don't we, for Paula Wilkins to get involved in the offensive attack for the Badgers?
Yeah, they're best when she's on the ball. She has the ability to do a lot of things with it. She can penetrate on the dribble, and then that draws defenders for her to either push out wide and then get into the box. But she's also very almost elegant in her ability to change the point and provide good numbers on the weak side.
Talking about elegant, Michigan has been dealing her early on. Look at these passes. Hernandez, big save. Bloomer is there. Hernandez kept alive. 5 or 6 meticulous passes from Michigan. Probably should be 2-0.
Yeah, and that was very calm in the area by Nikki Hernandez. She did the hard part. A shot like that, she made it kind of easy for the keeper as it was towards the hand. She just needed to put that low on either side or roof it on either side. But Stratigakis running out of the midfield, that's her on that left edge of the box, and how about that? It's a big save. Bloomer came out and made herself big, so it wasn't automatic. Wow. Hernandez denied her 7th goal.
Abby Castro was wide open if you just go ahead and drop it. If you ever go goal scorer, right?
No
She's
way.
on fire.
No
but
way.
I'm telling you, she was wide open, little side of your foot right there, and tap it in. But you're right. If you're having a great season, leading the Big Ten in points, you're going to keep going.
Well, sometimes that's the extra pass you don't need to make. But you could be right, Dean.
Yeah, we'll show you the highlights at halftime. You'll see Castro having a cup of coffee over in the far post.
And back to the Michigan goal just for a moment. You know, they were having trouble trying to build because that's part of what Jen Klein is trying to do with this program. And you noticed it was a direct ball out of the back. Second ball, get around. That's not necessarily their plan, but they identified that's how they were going to get out of the area.
Another corner kick for Wisconsin. Beal got enough of it. Rice, hard tackle for Michigan. One back by Rice. Rice can shoot it, but right to Beal.
That was Sari Yeka who played it right into the feet of Rice. So Yeka needs to settle down just a bit. An inadvertent header as she tried to clear earlier, which Hillary Beal had to sprawl and save. And now this one's set up for Lauren Rice.
Coming into this game, Wisconsin averaging almost 8 corners per game. Michigan just about 3, and Wisconsin already has 4 corners and just got this one going. 4 corners and none for Michigan, but Michigan with the only goal. Let's take a look at it again. The first goal here for the Michigan Wolverines.
Assist Stratigakis, that's her right there. And here's the second ball. Correction, I'm sorry, that's Riley with the goal. I was thinking about the Stratigakis near assist. And that second ball where Riley is able to gobble it up. Little touch to the left and clinical, eh?
Nice finish.
Stratigakis is Canadian, so that's why I went with the A.
Several Canadians have been a part of both these teams over the years. Of course, that pipeline from Canada has really made women's college soccer thrive. And when you think about the next level as well, NWSL, I mean, the play right now at NWSL is off the charts. And that includes Rose Lavelle, former Wisconsin Badger. Martin will earn a corner kick Michigan.
Well, you mentioned Pickett earlier, the central midfielder for Wisconsin, and how Paula Wilkins suggested that she was quicker than Lavelle. And she also mentioned Allie Krieger, who she coached at Penn State, 2 really quick players on the ball.
Yeah, that is big-time praise. Yeah, big-time praise when you think about Allie Krieger. I mean, she's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, and Rose Lavelle, she's going to make the World Cup roster.
Yes, she is.
Martin. Kept in bounds. Knocked out of bounds. Then I got to give you credit. You said this was going to be a good one. You said despite that loss to Indiana, Michigan can play. They score goals. They play attractive soccer. And you're right, they had trouble early on putting passes together, but they have been firing at all cylinders here, putting all kinds of pressure on Wisconsin.
And Stratigakis, again, she's the attacking midfielder. Keep that in mind. But what she reads is when the striker is out of the area, she'll penetrate in. And you see where Nikki Hernandez was a couple of yards inside the 18. So that's where Stratigakis sees the space, attacks it. That was very close.
Yeah, great service there. Stratigakis, indeed, with 3 goals in the last 4 games. Just a couple inches away from making this one 2-0.
And I think as the season progresses, you're under a first-year coach, Jen Klein. She's got a different type of shape and system she's instilling on the attacking side in particular. And each practice at each game, you're going to most likely get a little better as time moves on. The players will connect better. And I think we're seeing some of that with their win over Purdue and now the early lead against Wisconsin.
Yeah, Stratigakis, as you tipped your hat to Canada, I mean, she's played on every U team and has made appearances for the Canada senior national team.
I think she'll be running the show in the center of the park for the full team at some point.
Well, I talked to Christine Sinclair today, and she said she's going to play one more World Cup and an Olympics, and then she said, you know what, I may keep on playing. She's 35 years young. I mean, what a machine.
That's an apt description, a machine.
Speaking of Canadians, of course, Yeka as well, the left back. She was 16 years old when she made her first full national team appearance. It's pretty phenomenal.
Great international experience for her. For me, her game has stalled just a bit. I mean, this is a kid, and now she's being given the green light to get forward at any opportunity. In 37 career games, Yeka has 1 assist and no goals. She does have 5 shots on goal in 2018, and I think that will develop as well. But she's a dangerous player out of the back. Just haven't seen that sort of dynamic attacking skills that we know she has in her collegiate career yet.
Jennifer Klein, the new coach for the Michigan Wolverines, electing to go with a familiar formation in women's soccer, a 4-3-3. And it's exciting to watch those three front runners up top, work in with their midfielders. They're going to put some heat on this very good Badger team. Comes in at number 17 in the country.
Well, you look at 4 of those front 5 players. Amy Castrol just getting back. She's been nursing an injury, but Stratigakis, Hernandez, Aaliyah Martin, and Riley Martin, that's pretty good. And the Martin sisters work very well together.
Danny Rhodes trying to put some pressure on that back line. Here comes one of the Martin sisters, Aaliyah Martin. Plays it long, was trying to find Stratigakis. And there's Riley Martin. Good tackle. Riley Martin wins it. Referee letting him play. Riley Martin's got one from around there. Taken down, and again, referee lets him play. No whistle. Turnover again for Michigan. Hard sliding tackle. The Wolverines. Abby Castro back across. Hernandez was lurking, trying to find points 18 and 19.
Cami Bagalski did well to cut in front and head that ball clear and out of danger. That's the key there. From that angle, it may have been a little more difficult for her, but Michigan back on the ball, but it was an important clearance.
Michigan, after turning the ball over early on, has controlled the run of play here. They've got the lead. It'll fall again. Leah Martin.
Castro tried to play that in directly to Hernandez. That was difficult. She had a 1-2 wall pass combination with Stratigakis. I was just seeing it. 1-2, get it in, and now she's working at that back 4 and see what kind of movement she can get.
Abby Castro, 7 brothers and sisters. Part of the Castro family. If you're down in Naples, Florida, you might run into one of the Castros. Rhodes. So good to see her back out there and healthy again. Wisconsin has had phenomenal success while she was getting back into form. Rhodes wanted it back, trying to get it to her with Sella.
And there's Aaliyah Martin, who's considered an attacking midfielder. The 4-3-3 shape, it's 2 attackers in that triangle, Stratigakis and Aaliyah Martin. Look how far she tracked back to intercept that square ball. The only thing from Sella, she could have had a little more pace on it. You got to hit it like a bullet when you're close to goal.
Throw in Wisconsin. That's Rice who will do the work back to goal. Sella down near the end line, kept alive by Rhodes. Denied again by Michigan.
How good was that from Sella? To not only keep it in play, but potentially put it face of goal.
Better work, though, from Wisconsin to win it back after they lose it, as Alexis Ty, the redshirt senior, coming back for an extra year. There's Sella, sophomore from Evanston, Illinois.
And she was prepared for her starting role this year. Sella came in for Becca Harrison, one of the 2 graduating losses for this Wisconsin team. Would come in at the 15-minute mark of the first half. So she had a role to play and certainly got used to the system.
Yeah, she played a ton of minutes. Really enjoyed watching Becca Harrison. She was a fighter and a scrapper, always came up with big assists and big goals. So Becca Harrison and Caitlin Clem move on. Subscribe to BTN Plus and gain access to great non-televised soccer matchups all season long. And enjoy them wherever you are. Get BTN Plus now, available on BTN to go. Alongside Glenn Crooks, I'm Dean Linke. Back-to-back Big Ten and women's soccer games on BTN. Penn State and Northwestern will follow this one.
That sort of turnover, Claire Shea trying to play an entrance ball, pretty much unforced. If it's not clearly there, step on it, change the point, accept the space in front of you.
Whistle called against Michigan. I think it may have been out of bounds over on the far side.
There's Shea, and she's getting her opportunity due to a Sammy Klitke injury, freshman who was all Big Ten last year, central defender. So Shea filling in admirably. As Paula Wilkins said, she's quicker than she looked. She's a top 5 speed on the team, among the top 5 in pure speed amongst the Badgers.
Knocked out of bounds by Wisconsin. Riley Martin scored the winner last year in Madison, and she's got the only goal so far. Michigan leading Wisconsin, the number 17 team in the country by a score of 1-0. Ann Arbor, Michigan, Michigan Soccer Stadium, and there is Riley Martin. There's Glenn Todia playing with her sister Aaliyah. Glenn, I got to tell you, I've got 2 boys, and one year they got to play together on the basketball court, and it was the greatest year of my life. So you got to believe the parents of the Martins are absolutely loving this, because there's nothing better than watching your kids play an athletic event and then watching them play it together. Are you kidding me?
Nah, that's because so many parents have to deal with.
Here's another shot. Hernandez, big save by Bloomer. Bloomer has come up with a couple. That's a handball on Michigan. And Jordan Bloomer keeping Wisconsin in this, as Michigan could have 2 or 3 already.
What a save. And she came up big against Hernandez earlier, point blank, and now has to go down quickly to her left. And technically, 2 tremendous saves. Keepers work on those 2 situations often.
You know, our great crew are going to rack those 2 saves, because that could be the difference. Michigan has been dominant after those kind of 5 first sloppy minutes. Even Beal looked a little shaky, right, getting her first start, the much heralded U.S. Youth National Team goalkeeper. But since then, Michigan, they're passing. They've kept it on the carpet, Glenn. They've got it out wide and put balls in front of the goal.
Yeah, and the match now has some great ebb and flow, end to end.
Tackle there as Ty came in. Michigan wins it back.
Alexis Ty, she held back a little bit and tried to attack that from behind. Not a bad idea. The ball played across. Again, maybe a little bit more pace. You really have to drill the ball on the deck in that area of the field.
Wisconsin starting to settle down here in the midfield. They'll push it out wide right. That means Rice and Rhodes usually are there. Instead, it's Beal. All right, Glenn, you coached for such a long time, had great success at Rutgers. I got to ask you, in soccer, Michigan, they survived kind of little sloppy play. Then they get the goal. Then they really should be up 2-3-0, but they're not. As the coach that's up 1-0, that should be 2 or 3, how do you manage the fact that you haven't separated yourself just yet?
Well, you have to, this is where experience comes in with players. If you're having success and you're that close, just continue to
do this right here. Hernandez with the diving header. Great service again, and the triple-edged sword up top for the Michigan Wolverines has been effective.
Right, so this would be, I wanted you to finish that call, but Hernandez now with a diving header. So she had the point-blank effort, which she may have been able to do a little better with, but Bloomer made herself big. Then hits a great shot low that Bloomer has to go down and save. And then here, Hernandez just can't connect the way she would like to get it on frame. But that's what you do. You just keep getting at it, and eventually it will come. And if it doesn't, you have to be secure in the effectiveness that you've gained throughout the match.
Wisconsin quickly the other way. Speed knocked out of bounds. And there is Pickett. Just as we talked about, if Wisconsin's going to get back into this, they're going to need to find this talented Victoria Pickett. Another one of those outstanding Canadians.
Looks like a complete zonal system defensively.
Emily Borgman into the game for Paula Wilkins. She mishit that one. She's already got game-winning goals against Marquette and Washington. So number 19, part of 11 players that have points on the season. You see those 2 game-winning goals, tied for 3rd in the Big Ten. So she's got the ice in the veins, kind of Mark Segber's style, the former Wisconsin Badger for the men's team, and John Trask. They play Maryland tomorrow on the Big Ten Network.
That'll be another, I'll predict another very good match. It'll be competitive. How's that?
It'll be feisty.
Feisty.
It's tomorrow night, Wisconsin and Maryland. Ludwig Field, home of the Crew, the student supporters for the Maryland Terrapins. Always a wonderful environment. It's actually a good crowd here at the Michigan Soccer Stadium. Near side is pretty well kept with fans in the stands. A little bit of wind here in Ann Arbor. The Wisconsin Badgers kind of going with this theme of Michigan taking over. They have not had a shot in more than 15 minutes. You see the fans in the stand.
Always nice to hear the supporters when you're at home, and it's a big part of the experience. I know we're going to get a big feel for that at Ludwig Field tomorrow, and Wisconsin winning the ball right back, but giving it right back to Michigan.
Quite a bit of red here. The Badgers family travels pretty well. Michigan. Strategakis, who has been outstanding early on for Michigan, as has Riley Martin. Hernandez has looked good.
Well, that long service out of the back from Joyner a moment ago, she hits Hernandez. Hernandez does well because, again, she's a more natural attacking midfielder, and she just drifts back in between the lines and is able to gather that in. That's not a bad early ball for Michigan to consider in order to break pressure.
Beal can boom it. She sends it well past midfield, and then it's about winning the second ball. This time Wisconsin does win it. See now the defensive shape for Michigan. It's been pretty good. You can get caught up talking about their attacking players. Michigan will need to be disciplined in the back if they want to hang on to this lead. Push far side into the 18. Nobody home. Cleared out of there by Michigan. Calcagno.
That's Steph Fabre, the reserve winger for Wisconsin. She's the one that cut the ball back earlier, where Alexis Ty arrived just a little bit too late, but she's caused some issues on the flank on the right side against the Michigan defenders.
Alexis Ty, redshirt senior from California. This Wisconsin team does feature 9 players from the great state of Wisconsin. And how about Jen Klein saying that her mantra right away is trying to keep the best players in Michigan with the Michigan Wolverines. Tom Saxton has always done a real good job finding the top players with the Spartans, but they're sprinkled all over the country. She wants to keep them here and have him play in Ann Arbor.
She mentioned some top programs, including schools in her own conference like Penn State. And that, when you have depth of talent within your state, that is always the mantra. It's almost your job to keep the best players home. There's competition within home, but I agree with Jen Klein.
Glenn, another question for the coach. I mean, you talk about a big-time flush. I mean, there are teams that could have broken down, and they're on the road as well after being up 2-0 against, by the way, a very good Indiana team that's atop the conference with Amy Burberry, but they didn't. They went into Purdue. Purdue is a feisty team, young team with a whole lot of heart, and they got to win.
And they play better soccer, which is also a credit. On the Sunday, after the Thursday, playing these two games in such a short period of time, as one of the Wisconsin players right now.
Okay. This is major. Victoria Pickett.
See if we get a closer look at it. 50-50 ball, and it's hard to see exactly. Knee to knee. And that's a very painful experience depending on what part of the knee. I will say if it's knee to knee, there's generally not damage.
Victoria Pickett. Watch the right knee's hit, but then I think it's the left knee that she grabs. See, now left knee's down on the ground. Now watch her grab her left knee.
Yeah, her foot came underneath the leg and hyperextended. I mean, there's some pain, but by the way, she walked off without too much of a gait issue. She, I think she'll be okay. With under 6 to play in the half, I don't know if maybe they'll wait till halftime, try to examine her.
Wisconsin. Just 2 shots to 5 for Michigan. At the moment, nobody has checked in for Pickett, so we may see her be able to get back in there through the... There she is. She's in there already. So that is good news, folks. This is a special talent. But Michigan's composure when Wisconsin gets into their defensive third after those first 5 minutes has been pretty good.
Yeah, they're getting good numbers in the box defensively off the service. But Pickett, there's what you saw. She unbalanced 2 defenders to open up to the wide right area. And once again, that gave Fabre another opportunity.
Michigan looking for some help. Sometimes they have to go backwards to go forwards, and let's see them continue to try to build it out of the back. Working now, Michigan. They have stuck with their game plan. Didn't panic, and you can hear the coaching staff saying, build it. That's exactly what they've done. This is about the 9th or 10th pass for Michigan, and just like that, they have it on the right side. Great soccer here for the Wolverines.
And one thing about building, it does give Wisconsin a chance to recover. They had 8 players behind the ball. So Michigan patient, play back into their own area, and they'll get a throw in deep in Wisconsin's end.
Jen Klein has gone to her bench here as well, up 1-0, and she's part of our State Farm State of Success. She's put in her time, right? Assistant coach for U.S. Soccer at the U19 level, associate head coach for the national champion USC team, pretty good player as well for Arizona.
So a high-level playing experience and a variety of levels on the coaching side. And it's good to be observing sometimes, not as the head coach, but as the assistant, to see what you're going to take away, to see what you might want to insert on your own. But she did have that head coaching position at UNLV, and at the time, youngest Division I coach in the country.
Yeah, she'll take all of that, right? Mix it all together and now bring that fire to Michigan. Placing Greg Ryan, he had a 103, 64, and 36 overall record, 50, 35, and 24 in the Big Ten. The former U.S. women's national team coach, and pretty clear indication Michigan taking women's soccer seriously is that record's not terrible, but they want to elevate it. And I also think it's interesting that you go ahead and find somebody that has those West Coast roots, because the back part of that mantra of getting those Michigan players was, hey, we're going to find some special players all over the country.
Yeah, and Southern California is not a bad spot to start. And one of her mentors, interestingly enough, is on the opposite touchline, Paula Wilkins. Gave great credit to Paula. Kat Mertz as well, who he worked at UNLV with prior to becoming the head coach there.
Paula Wilkins, first class, and you can put her in there. Just look at her winning percentage as one of the very best women's soccer coaches in the country, and she certainly appreciated those kind words from Jen Klein, because part of her mission is to continue to see more females get head coaching positions in the women's game. She's out front on that.
Yeah, and you know, there's certain aspects and there's statistics which will tell you that there's a dearth of female coaches in the game, you know, when you look at the entire landscape of soccer. So yes, having a role model and a mentor who's been around and been through it, like Paula Wilkins, she's an inspiration to a young coach like Jen Klein.
See if Wisconsin, like Michigan, both teams have gone to their bench to replace their front runners, bring a little energy, and of course that'll also mean that when you start the second half, those players will be rested.
The Michigan mindset right now, go into the locker room up 1-0. Do not concede. They will form a block. I don't think they're going to be too intent on trying to get forward right now. Well, get forward, but not necessarily in a real controlled short passing way.
Cannot forget that Jordan Bloomer, who replaced the great Caitlin Clem with 2 huge saves for the Badgers. Otherwise, it's 2 or 3-0 Michigan.
Well, honestly, to reach the top level, to compete for a Big Ten championship, to compete for a national championship, you have to have a keeper that can come up big once or twice in every match. Has to happen.
There's the goal scorer, number 12, Riley Martin. She had the game winner last year, 5 minutes into overtime in Madison. And if this one ended, she would have the game winner here, as the Michigan Wolverines lead Wisconsin by a score of 1-0. So pleased to be joined by Jennifer Klein in her first season. And Coach, I got to tell you, that flushing of that Indiana game, remarkable. Big win over Purdue, and this first 45, short of maybe the first 5 minutes, your team looked very good. Your thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, I think once we got the goal, we really settled down and started to move the ball quite nicely. I think we've been pretty good defensively. Just want to make sure moving forward we just continue to take care of the ball and stay organized.
Jen, is there any sense of frustration? You could be up 2 or 3-0 at this point. Bloomer came up with a couple of big saves, but Hernandez in particular, one time, point blank.
Yeah, it's, you know, we talk about production within the goal zone and really taking advantage of our chances in there. So that part's a little bit, you know, frustrating just because you get those opportunities and you want to take advantage. But very happy that we're creating them. Now we just need some composure and put them in the back of the net.
Coach, glad to have you in the Big Ten. Enjoy the rest of the season. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you guys so much.
You can tell another good coach in the Big Ten ranks. After the first 5 minutes, it was all Michigan, including Riley Martin with the only goal in the first half. They could have had a couple more. Michigan on top of number 17, Wisconsin, 1-0.